If you can see it, we starting with the light codes. See if I can get it back. I just saw the purple. It was like a deep purple coming off the light. Okay, there's the sun. And where's the glare? We just had it. Now you want to act up? For those who know the light codes, y'all know. Y'all will be like, I see the blue, I see the green. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I tilt it this way. Okay, it's not showing. Oh, there it go. There it go. There's the purple. I saw two purples. So there's the deep purple, and coming out of it, you're seeing the purple that has more of a reddish hue. And you see where it's going. Oh, there it goes. There it goes into a deeper purple. So from the reddish hue, you could kind of see the red surrounding it. Ooh, there it go. Put it right in the middle. Light codes, light codes. Get your light codes. We crowning right now. Let it tap up to your crown. Let me see if I head this way where it's going. Like right, you can see the deep purple and then the reddish purple right behind it. And in some way you may see the deep purple in the midst of the reddish purple coming off the sun, and you see where it's going. Look at that hitting out, and you may even see a beam of light. I see like a beam of purple with it, like shooting from it. So as the sun hits us, hits our crown, welcome in, welcome in. We're seeing the light codes. Get your light codes. Get them while it's hot, fresh off the pot. Opening the crown, going from the cosmic body straight into the earth. That's that red. That's to show you how much of the crown is connected to the root. All right, you're seeing the crown in the midst of it, and you're seeing that reddish hue like surrounded. Because when we're in this earth, we are in it. Let me turn it around. So those are light codes for right now. Peace, love, and light. Been sharing these light codes with you. Welcome in, whoever comes in. Happy whatever day this is for you. Let's see if I can get this standing up. Okay, there we go. Faithfully, it doesn't fall. Peace, peace, peace. Excuse that distraction, that noise that you may hear in the background. But happy, today is the 19th, so it closes out. There's actually like a vortex within a vortex. So I'm doing a check-in. What we doing in the vortex, right? There's the vortex of 2/2 to 2/20. And there's a vortex from the 10th of every month. I've been noticing this pattern for about 2-3 years now. From the 10th to the 19th, you could check it for yourself. There's a vortex there. That is what I call like the new beginnings, because it kind of represents 10. If you count all days, it's like 10 days, but there's a 9 within it. So for those who don't know what the vortex is, welcome in. Peace, love, and light. For those who don't know what the vortex is, it's kind of like an extended portal, an expanded portal. So just like how you would think of the portal, very similar with the vortex. And usually the vortex has a portal date that opens it, and then it has a portal date that closes it. So for example, 2/2 to 2/20, there's a portal date. 2/2 is a portal date that opens it. 2/20 is a portal date that closes it. And this one particularly, the 10/10, the 10th through the 19th. The 10th itself is the portal opening, and the 19th is the portal closing. Now what happens if you check the date, you check the number for yourself? Peace, love, and light. Greetings. If you check it for yourself and count the days, just you do the math. Just count the numbers from the 10th through the 19th. And when I say count the numbers, I mean write out the dates, the whole date, the month, the day, the year, the whole date from the 10th to the 9th, and you're going to see a pattern. Add up all those numbers and you're going to see a pattern, right? And whatever date you get, you're going to see, first of all, the 10 plus a number. And you're going to see that same pattern, that on the 10th it's going to be this plus a number. On the 11th it's going to be whatever that plus, like the total of it is going to be that day plus the number. So on the 10th, whatever the total of that is, it's going to be 10 plus whatever it takes to get to that number of what that date is. For example, this month I think it was 13. On the 10th, you add up all the numbers, it add up to 13. So that's what? 10 plus 3. So the code in that is a +3 code. Stick with me if you can. Now bring that forward to today. I'm not going to go through every single day, but today is the 19th. If you add up the numbers for today, it equals 22. Right? And that is, today is what, the 19th? So if you count 3 days, it's going to be the day plus 3. That's what it is. The code in this particular vortex, New Beginnings vortex, is a +3, which is, well, before I explain what it is, it's a +3. So it's going to be 19 plus 3. And what is the code when you add up the universal date? It's going to be 22. 19 plus 3 is what? 22. So if you check it just like I did, from the 10th through the 19th, you're going to see that pattern. Now, what is the +3? The +3 is the overall, let's say, theme of what's happening in this particular vortex. And so that's going to be creative completion, being that the 3 is a creative completion, which is, by the way, a main portal, what I call a main dimensional portal. 369. That's what the 369 really is. It's a main dimensional portal. It's not just something you hop on to manifest and get things, but you do manifest because it is a main dimensional portal and it is a completion. Each portal is a completion. So the third, the 3 is a creative completion. And the completion, that is the creation, the manifestation and the creation. So you get to see it. It's evidence to you. The 6 is a receptive completion. So now whatever has been evidenced to you, it has been taken to the level of receptivity. It's one thing to be aware of something. It is another thing to be receptive of what you are aware of. That's another main portal, a main dimensional portal. The 9 is a spiritual completion. Now that you have been receptive, you have taken it to the level of spiritual completion because of your receptivity, because of how you have received it. So it's one thing to receive something, it's another thing to fully embody what you have received, and that highlights the spiritual completion. So that is the 369, and that's why you can easily, that's why they use it within manifestation, because the 369 you will manifest, right? The 3 is already a manifestation, and the next is just taking it to the next level, your manifestation into a receptive completion, into a spiritual completion, which brings it to a amplified manifestation, if you will. It amplifies your manifestation. Ashe, Ashe. And see, as I said, that 999, so you know. And within every 9 is just the infinite number of 9. And within every 9, you have a 3, you have a 6. It takes 3 3s to make that 9. It takes 3 creative completions to make that 9. Right? It takes 2 3s to get you to a receptive completion. So this is why sometimes you do things, it's repetitive. Sometimes you have to repeat something because you have to have a creative completion 2 times in order to get to a receptive completion. Do you hear? Do you hear? Receptivity is the ears, right? The ears are connected to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is not just about the throat. It includes the ears. Look it up for those who don't know. And it's because the ears is the receptive activity of expression and communication in time. When we are expressing, it is a 2-way street. It's not one way. It's what you take in and what you give. And what you take in determines what you give. So receptivity is most important. It is actually a prerequisite, I would say. What you receive is a prerequisite of what you can give, what you can express outward. You need input to send output. To me, it's common sense, right? So that is what the vortex is. So yes, tomorrow we're closing out the 22 to 220 vortex. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you may have heard it already. You may have known, because I've been really talking about these vortices since about 2022, when I really literally just started on YouTube and really amplifying. And this was what's also coming up. Let me highlight that, is the 5D Independence 2/22/2022, and I'm gonna always blow that date up. It's forever on the calendar. If those of you that have the 5D calendar, you will see it says, if you take your calendar and open it up to Anubis, you're going to see, is it in Anubis? It may be in Nut, in the last month, in the beginning of Nut, because it is the 22nd of February. So open your calendar up to Nut, and in the beginning of Nut, you'll see on the 22nd day of February is our 5D independence, right? And then on the 28th, we have the 5D declaration. For those who were there, you already know what time it is. For those who don't, a brief explanation would just simply be that that was when 5D independence was energetically sealed. It's not that that's when 5D came here. Like, we were already operating in 5D. 5D has been dawning upon us for a couple of years. And 5D, the fifth dimension, actually became, we were just talking about this the other day. For people who want to know an exact time that we literally birthed into the fifth dimension, it would be in December of 2020. For those who remember what happened around December of 2020, I believe it was the 21st, either the 20th or the 21st of December. There was a major Jupiter, I think it was a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, and this hadn't been seen in years since, in that way, in that particular space and time, since the Piscean age came into view, since the star that they looked at for the coming of Christ, right? And Christ brings in, and I did a whole video about this back then, and Christ, Yeshua, brings in the Piscean age. That's why every time y'all see Jesus or Yeshua, what do y'all see? Fish, 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 and more fish. So the Piscean age is what he ushered in. And he said, what? There will be a comforter, because he knew there was going to be another age. I ushered in the Piscean age. There's going to be another age. So here comes that age. Let me see what you're saying. Dolores Cannon was talking about it in 20. Yeah, Dolores, for those of you who know about Dolores Cannon, she's been talking about the fifth dimension. She's one of the first people I heard talking about the fifth dimension. For years, she was aware of it. So we were already dawning the fifth dimension from back then. It's not nothing new, right? But we are now being able to see the fifth dimension. A lot of us have been able to expand our consciousness because it's not a location. If you're looking for 5D for somewhere to be, then you looking in the wrong place. You got to look within. It's within you. It is the expansion of our consciousness that takes us into the next dimension in time, because we move through the dimensions in our mind. This is how we quantum leap. This is how we time leap. All the physics, all of that is within you. You are physics. And the way that you move through time, that's why I say we are time pushers. We are time keepers. We are time pushers. We are vessels in time. It is our existence here on earth that keeps time in a time-space reality. Right? Because time slows down as we are here on this planet, as we are here in our bodies. We slow down time. That's why when you leave the physical body, you can move at light speed. You can move at the speed of light. You can get information. A lot of us are moving more into the speed of light because we're appropriating these light codes, like how I'm appropriating this sun right now. Yes, I said appropriate. We eat the sun. And we are getting light codes, the solar winds and all of that coming directly into our skin, into our crystalline bodies. I was literally watching, and I can see it now when the sun hits it a certain way. I can see the crystalline, like I was crystalline. I saw somebody post earlier, like the crystalline something. They said, I was like, I was crystalline. And I've been seeing a lot of this little specks of crystalline. It looks like little rainbow fairy dust. I don't know if how many of you have been seeing that. but I've been seeing it not only in my skin. I saw it in my children's hair. Like, y'all got fairy dust. Like, y'all got some rainbow dust up in there. Like, we are in our crystalline bodies. We're entering into it. We're accessing our crystalline bodies. Ashe, Ashe. Let me see what you're saying. Peace, love, and light to, and welcome. Time has been moving fast. Yes, it has, because we are moving at the speed of light. And let's just put it this way, our light speed that we are in is moving. We are accelerating. The frequencies are accelerating as we shift, as we move. And the more we expand our consciousness, the quicker we're moving. We're literally oscillating in between time. A lot of us are just oscillating in between time. And that's really fourth dimensional activity, because 4D is time. Okay, the third dimension is creation, right? The two dimension is right here, is the trees. This is two dimension, and it is very intelligent, and it holds the intelligent codes, the elements, the wind, all of that, elementals, trees, all of that is 2D consciousness, and it is intelligent information. And it holds the information more obediently than we do, because we, being of 3D nature, we have the gift and the freedom of free will. We have free will. So we are free to think of ourselves. Not that 2D is in bondage, but it is not the expansion into 3 dimension, which allows for that free thinking, that next level of existing. So we represent consciousness, basically consciousness in moving, in action, free-willed consciousness, rather than consciousness that is simply existing. Which, if it's existing, to be honest, 2D consciousness is closer to the one dimension, the 1D. The 1D is the unification, is unity. 1D is the one mind, and that it just is what it is. And then 2D expands. It's like it splits in two, and it's the harmony. It is the activity and the harmony in motion. It is the what does I always say is the harmony. It qualifies, or it embodies, the receptive and creative activity, which is the masculine and feminine energy, that harmony of the two. And that's why you will find in plant life, you will find the feminine energy and the masculine energy even in plants. You know the male plants, you know the female plants, because that feminine masculine energy is the harmony that brings forth more creativity, more creation. So when it expands from 2D consciousness, it expands into the third dimensions of time and space. Then we have third dimension, which is us, consciousness, energy in motion, life force energy that is in motion, that is thinking of itself, that has the gift of free will to do in and of itself, right? An hour feels like a minute. Who you telling? It really depends on how you're experiencing time. Sometimes sometimes what feels like 5 minutes is really an hour, and sometimes what feels like an hour is really 5 minutes. And what I'm realizing is it depends on how you're experiencing time. It depends on whether you are contracting or expanding in time. That usually tells the difference. Are you experiencing more of a contraction or an expansion? And it seems like when you're experiencing a expansion, time seems a little bit longer. I believe that is where the 5 minutes can feel longer, because there's an expansion, right? And when we're more kind of contracting, which is what a lot is happening, that's why most people are feeling time like this, because a lot of us are contracting. It's our natural reaction to what is happening. So when we're contracting, it's like when an hour feels like 5 minutes, like all this time passed, but it was like it's happening so quick, because a lot of us, our response is to be like, oh snap, and contract. Good afternoon, welcome in, share the light for those who are coming in. Share the light, especially on TikTok, because like I said, that's the way more people will get it. But yeah, this is what's happening, the contraction and the expansion of time, and that's how we're oscillating in between time for those of you who are feeling it, right? So, as I said, the third dimension is just that. It's us, energy in expression and in motion. It is creation in and of itself. So, the harmony of duality is more the 2D consciousness, 2D consciousness, and then when it expands into creation, we have 3D, we have us. Now the expansion continues and you go into the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time. Time, right? Time in existence. And as we just talked about how we're experiencing time, how we're in and out of time, that is you experiencing the fourth dimension. That is creation in time. That is creation that is multiplied or dividing itself. It's either multiplying itself or it's dividing itself, but it is time in and of itself being in creation, and creation being that in time, right? So that would be the fourth dimension, and this is actually the dimension that Yeshua was living from with those around him. Why they couldn't understand him, because they were operating in 3D. He was operating in the fourth dimension in time, right? And time knows no bounds, right? So it can't be bound by creation. It is out of bounds of creation because it is the expansion of creation, and now it is just time and your understanding. And I know it may sound off, but you're understanding that creation is of time. And so out of that, you have the fifth dimension where we are now. And the fifth dimension is expression. The fifth dimension is the expression of creation in time. So in time, as we are moving through time, we are seeing the expression everywhere. And that's why people can't hide in the fifth dimension. There's no hiding. Everything is worn on the sleeve, because now we're seeing the expression in time, because it's like time flipped everything out, inside out. So whereas we feel like, for example, as I'm saying that, what I'm seeing right now, as we tend to think that our spirit and soul is on the inside and our body is on the outside, now flip that, right? And if you flip that, now you're going to get the Merkaba. The Merkaba is the spirit light body. But the Merkaba is when you're traveling in your light body ship. It is when you recognize that your body, like y'all looking at me, you seeing me right now, you're seeing the body, and you would think this is my exterior, but it is really my interior. The body is really within the light, because I have a whole auric field around me. So then you realize through the Merkaba, Merkaba means light spirit body. So here is my body, my spirit, the light. The light is the vehicle that is carrying the spirit. You can only see my spirit in the etheric levels, in the layers of my aura, for those of you who can see aura. So there's the spirit, light, spirit, body on the inside. So it's, and I'm saying that so that you understand the fifth dimension, understand, overstand, and understand the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is that everything is on the outside. The expression of you is on the outside. It's not really on the inside. And when you really live in 5D, you recognize that. So what you're looking at, people may look and see a physical body, but those who really see with the eyes of 5D, we see the energy on the outside. We see the light body first. And the light body is telling us everything. And that's why you can't hide nothing. Everything that you've been hiding, you can't hide. And it's always been like this. Let me be clear. It's always been like this. It's just that we have expanded our consciousness to this next level. Simply put, it's always been, we live in all dimensions in time. All the dimensions are here, but we experience each dimension energetically, evolutionary, one step at a time. And right now, humanity has evolved to a state over thousands of years. This ain't overnight. That's why those people who looking for 5D overnight, you're not getting it. It's thousands of years till we got to the expansion of the fifth dimension collectively, planetarily, right? because some of us are individually at particular dimensions of ourselves. And remember, these are dimensions within dimensions, right? Let me not even go into that. That's the convoluted universe. It's dimensions within dimensions. But there's the overall planet is at the fifth dimension, and therefore we are all experiencing the fifth dimension, whether you like it or not. And that's why some people can't hang, because if we are in the fifth dimension, that means our light, the sun, matches us. So that means we receive fifth density light right now. As the moment the planet moved to fifth dimension, our sun is letting off fifth density light. So for those people who are still at a level of third dimensional souls or four dimensional souls, your processor does not match the fifth dimension. And so it makes it more difficult for you to process, appropriate, and your nervous system can't, it's fine. I'm not going to say can't, but the nervous system is finding it hard to calibrate these light codes. There are things that are happening that is beyond your scope of view, because you haven't brought your view to that level. Ashe? So this is a lot of what's happening right now to explain what people are feeling. And this is why we got to pay attention to the cosmos. The cosmos are guiding you. Don't discredit it. Don't think that it is separate from you and the wind picks up. That's high 2D consciousness. It's not separate from you. It's one with you. We are one. Just because you're in 5D does not mean you have left third dimension. It is an expansion of 3D. So if you are at a fifth dimensional level, it means that you embody fourth dimension, third dimension, second dimension, first dimension. You have all dimensions in you. You have not left the third. You have expanded your consciousness into the fifth, into the fourth, and into the fifth. Ashe? Let me see what we saying down here. Enough. You're like, enough. What is enough? Am I saying too much? Let me know. Ooh, do I see a 3 and a 9? I see somebody at a 3 and a 9. Yeshua was on 1. Yep. I see the Bible so much differently. Yep. In the best of ways, right? Those of us who maybe even, I used to knock the Bible, but I see the Bible so much differently, because if you know how to read the codes, if you know how to read in between the line, like, you're going to see the truth. You're going to see some of what was happening there. It's not the way they meant it. It's not their literal truth, but you'll find some stuff. Yes, he was badass. That's what I say too. I'd be like, man, Jesus was badass. Like, we look at him like this humble little, Jesus was badass. Because if it's difficult right now with all the conveniences, yep, that we have in present day, I know it. That's what I say too. I say the same thing. Hey, peace, love. Oh, hey, you found me on the live. That's my TikTok is right there. TikTok is hard to find me because I don't have the 1,000 followers. So if you find me here, you won it. Jackpot. But yes, I say the same thing. Imagine if we have all the conveniences, not even that. If we have the evolution, look how much more evolved we are now than when we were about 2,000 years ago. We are much more evolved as a species, as a humanity. I know people like to say, oh, times are getting worse, but I always have to tell people, no, they're not. You could not survive back in them days, so you dare not utter out your mouth that times are worse. It's just worse to you because you can't live in your comforts, because things are being shifted up for changes and you can't be comfortable in your illusions or your delusions. You cannot be comfortable. So it feels worse because you see things breaking up, in the government and all that. It's like, oh my God, times are so terrible. Times are better now. If you could understand the scope of thousands of years ago, we are much more advanced. And I'm not saying we didn't have advanced civilizations, because remember, you also have to remember the ages, the golden age. And that's a 24,000 year cycle. So I'm not talking about when we're in the golden age and we have higher civilizations. We have to remember, for those who understand the yugas, when you are in the yuga cycle of the Kali Yuga, which we were just in, we were on the lower part. We were on the descending. So when you're descending from the golden age, the civilizations are, going through hell. and mayhem, and depending on what level they are at then with it. So we are actually coming into better times because we're just now leaving. We are now on the ascent of the Yuga cycle. So we're ascending. Times are getting better. Right? Ashe, right? Believe that. You could believe it. Go ahead and tap the live. Give it some hearts if you dare in TikTok, because that'll help get it to other people. If you heart, I'll be all them hearts y'all seeing, that's me. I be hearting myself. That's how it even gets to you, to pull you in here. So the more you heart it, or if you could share it, share the light, then it'll help grab whoever else could find me here, just like you found me, Ruth. Right? So the love that lights the truth. Let me light some more truth. Love, 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 love. Ashe, ashe. Thank you for the likes. So the as I was saying, bring it back to me, spirit. Bring it back to me. Bring it back. What was I saying, y'all? Like, damn, so much information is flowing through me. I'm like, I gotta stay focused, because another set of information will just jump right in. But yeah, I believe I was saying we're getting better. It's not worse. We're in a better situation, but it just looks bad for the scope that we have right now. So yeah, imagine what Yeshua had to deal with back then in those times. Imagine how much harder it was for him to bring in the Piscean age and the Piscean era to highlight what's happening, to show people that they can be the fishers of man. He was helping to evolve them out of the age of the ram. And we did a lot of destruction during the age of the ram. We really plundered during the age of the ram because we got in our ego, because the age of the ram is the age of Aries, right? The ages moves backwards. For those who don't know, they move backwards. So meaning we had the age of the ram, we went into the age of Pisces, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. So it moves, in the opposite direction of how we normally look at the ascension of astrology, starting with Aries. But the age of the ram, Aries is about the individual, the self, the ego. So, and I say this because not all ego is bad. The evolved aspect of Aries was for us to be more self-independent, but more aware of self, right? More aware of self as connected to the divine, and knowing yourself more, and really, building yourselves up. But due to fears, the shadows get in, and then we had all this competition and comparison and fighting and warring and colonization and all of this that was happening, that really deteriorated the patriarchal age that wanted to destroy the matriarch, which we were in the matriarchal rule before the age of the ram, because we were in the age of Taurus, and Taurus is the earth. So there was that feminine energy, Mama Gaia, that feminine energy of the earth, or Jeb, if you consider it Jeb. But either way, it's that feminine energy of the earth, Mama Earth type of thing. And so it was very matriarchal, the way we were connected into the earth before we went into the age of the ram. Right? So it was about finding our identity. There you go. Really getting in touch with our identity. But because of the shadows, we fell into the shadows, and from fear of annihilation and from fear of losing identity, we went into this down spiral. Anyhow, that's just to highlight what has happened in those ages. Ashe. Let me see. So when I say I am attached to your light, in truth, I am attached to your Merkaba. Exactly. I didn't see that. Thank you for that. When we're attached to people's light, we're attached to their Merkaba. Their Merkaba, we're looking at their spirit, their light spirit, right? Their light ship, so to speak. And the light ship is like the outer part, and then the spirit is everything within, everything that flows. Because remember, spirit is the breath of life. Spirit is the flow of energy. So it's the flow of everything as to bring it into the body. There's always like this threefold aspect. And that's something I really wanted to touch base on, because that came out in my dreams that I was, that I'm supposed to be sharing with you right now. But there's always this threefold aspect to things. And that's why I was talking about the creative completion. And I really want to highlight that as we're closing out the New Beginnings Vortex from the 10th through the 19th that had a theme of +3. And so that 3 is the creative completion. And it's important for us, like Spirit was highlighting to me, to let y'all know it's really important to let us know, to remind us. It's not even me letting you know, to remind us, to cue the memory cords of all of us and remind us that the 3 is the power of 3 is that remind us to plug into the power of 3, because it reminds us what we are creating. It brings us back to the creation and remembering that this is where we gotta, let me not even try to remember it because I had to write it down. It was in what we need to do to recognize the power of 3 as a creative completion that highlights the manifestation thereof. So wherever you see 3s, remind us to look out. There it is. Thank you, Spirit. To remind us to look out for wherever we see 3s, right? 3s show that there is a creative completion. There is an awareness to something that is happening. It is complete. It's something that is happening that's being highlighted to you. Here's the 3. Here's the first portal. Remember, it's the first main portal. So look out for those 3s. And so why I said that is because Merkaba is a 3. That is our creative completion of our light body self, right? And then within the body, for those of us who look at the body, we are a threefold being of spirit, soul, body. Spirit, soul, body. And that is for those of us who just look at the body. It's to know that our threefold existence is a spirit, soul, body, which is still very similar to the light spirit body, because that spirit is the overall essence. The soul is how we move through, right? How we move through our mind now. The soul is really consciousness in movement. And the body, of course, is what it is. It's the body. It's in expression, right? And that's where you would look at the body being on the outside. And you'd be like, oh, spirit, soul is within. Spirit, soul, and the expression is the body. That's that threefold, right? You also have the threefold of within your soul. Your soul is your entire mind. And your soul's consciousness, your entire mind, known as the soul's consciousness, is comprised of 3 compartments: superconscious, conscious, and subconscious, right? It is your psyche or psyche. That's why they say psychology, because psychology is your psyche. It is your psyche, and your psyche is the soul. So when they're doing psychology, it is working with your soul because it is working with your entire consciousness. The only thing is that in scientific psychology, they do not explore the superconscious mind. They keep evading it, and they keep acting like, oh, we don't know what that is. And they keep evading spirit, because superconscious is your direct connection to spirit. And they don't want to acknowledge spirit because they don't know how to. You know, they only know what they can tangibly work with. And tangibly in the soul, we tangibly work with conscious mind and subconscious mind, more so the conscious mind. Everything that we do in our conscious mind is the executor. I call it is it the executor? Yeah, I call it the executive branch, because that's where we make our decisions and everything like that. The subconscious is our secretary, if you will, the secretarial part, you know, or whatever the other branches are. Just, it's that part that, you know how the secretary got all the information? That's the subconscious mind. Even the conscious mind don't be knowing or remembering what's going on, because why? The subconscious houses the memories, and that is the feminine energy. That's why the subconscious represents the divine feminine, and the conscious represents the masculine, the thinker, the doer, the will to do. But the subconscious represents your feminine, the feelings, the memories, things like that. Right? So these are just the way, you know, the 3s. Oh, thank you, Win. Get my win codes. Let me get my win codes. All right, and I'm not just saying that, like I'm literally telling y'all, this is the internet. This is the natural internet. So put your portal palms up, let that light hit your portal palms and the soles of your feet and your third eye. Open up that crown, open up your entire, Merkaba, and allow that information to enter. It's the internet in between the grid. The light grid, which is all of our light information lighting up on the light grid. When the light comes in, it hits the planetary grid. It hits us. We're on the light grid. We're in the light grid. We are the light grid. Ashe? So pay attention to those threes because they are really highlighting it. And that's one of the things that was showing in my dreams. Like really, I want to do a video about it. Excuse me for not. I've been doing a lot of lives lately, YouTube. Excuse that because I have not cleared both. My phone is full and I really need to go through it and take time to sit down and sift through it, and that time just hasn't really been presenting itself between being a mom, doing homeschooling, sitting out here meditating, getting the light codes, and doing spiritual workshops and things like that. So when I get to that point, I would love to. I wanted to do a moon video and some other videos, so we'll see. Excuse the delay on all those videos. So at least I just say, let me come in and do a live and share what I can with you all. So let me share. And thank you for those that have been tapping in and communicating with the information. The spiritual identity, and if I could do a video, in case I don't, I'm going to just speak on it now while I'm live. The spiritual identity is emerging through the fire. Like that's the urgency I kind of woke up with today. Something about the identity. And all this fire talk that y'all hear going on is because the spiritual identity is coming through. A lot of things are being fallen away from us, are shedding. We are losing a lot, and not in a bad way, but because it's being pressure cleaned or sandblasted, or imagine a fire torch just blasting and really burning away what we don't need in our old identity, because we can't take that old identity with us into this new earth, this true earth, into our new timeline, because the new earth is when you enter your new timeline. Ashe? It's like I said, it's not a location. It's your information. It's your soul's inclination and your spirit's information, your spiritual information. So yes, Asar, oh, Ashe. I thought I said Asar because I was going to say, yeah, we're entering into Aries, which is Asar, right? For those who have that 5D calendar, the first month, and I'm going to call it month because I hear a lot of astrology people say things like, oh, according to the astrological calendar. No, according to the truth of time, according to the truth of the cosmos and time, if we return to the origins of time and the cosmos and time, the actual year for us, Earth, at an earthly perspective as to the way we relate into the cosmos, the part we play in the cosmos, the first month for us is Aries, is Asar. All right, and so we begin there, and that happens to be the element of fire, right? And there's a whole, divine connection and everything. For those who know, there are 4 elements in all of these, not all of these signs, but there are 4 elements in, I believe, 3 signs. It's always like that. There are 4 elements in 3 signs. 4 times 3 is 12. There are 3 qualities in 4 signs. And when I say qualities, that is cardinal, fixed, and mutable. For those of you who hear those terminologies, when you hear, oh, it's a fix, it's a mutable, it's a cross, those are the 4 qualities, is what they call them, of each sign, right? And they are in 4 houses. I call them houses, signs, houses, months. They're months. They're really months, and these are the true months. So with us entering into this fire, a lot of fire y'all hear being talked about, the year of the fire horse, which is about change. So it's going to be a lot of change this year, even more than last year, because last year was a universal year of 9 for the collective who are in that year, 2025. That was a universal year of 9 closing out. spiritual completion. So for them, it was a lot of changes. Like, man, a lot of stuff was falling. Yeah, because in order to have the spiritual completion, that has to fall away. And so now this is year, the fire horse is a year of change and high energy. So, that fire is like, think of it like horsepower in an engine. And an engine does what? Fire up. Vroom, vroom. So we going full speed ahead. And so that's that fire energy that's leading us forward, going northward. And as I say northward, even helping us go north into our north node, Pisces, our trajectory, our northward trajectory of where we're going. So this all has to do with where we see ourselves, because that's how we're going to go through. How do you allow yourself to feel? Sacral chakra. Into who am I? My identity. Because your feelings, if you allow the feelings are going to tell you the information of who you are, who you're being, who you are allowing yourself to be, because of what's in the root as well. The root chakra is the survival mode type of stuff. It is the physical body. So what we are experiencing at a manifested level, what are we manifesting? And through that manifestation, what are we feeling through those manifestations? Good, bad, or ugly? What are you feeling? And now who does that say you are? Who do you say you are? Right? Like Yeshua said, who do you say I am? Oh, Jesus, Jesus, are you the Messiah? Who do you say I am? I know who I am, but who do you say that I am? Meaning the I am that is in you. Do you know your I am, or your identity body, which is the solar plexus? That's why I'm doing the solar plexus chakra this weekend. So as I said, I've been like, this whole month is workshop to workshop to workshop. Last weekend was a sacral. We were working through the emotional body, and there's still some more to, look at and look into. And this weekend is a solar plexus. So we can really look at the identity body and what is falling away, and where is our spiritual identity that is showing up. Not what we call spiritual, but what is the true spiritual identity that is coming up for us. It's time to break away what you may have held in mind. It's time to let go of the way that you saw it. It's almost like universe is saying, okay, we've tried it your way. Now it's time to listen. Now it's time to go within and follow the directions from within. As above, so below. Do you know the directions that you need to know? All of the ethers, all of the celestials that are lining up, they're giving you instructions. Can you read the room? Can you read the room, or are you stuck in the womb? In the womb of this earth? Are you stuck in the wombs, I should say? Nothing wrong with the womb, because this earth is the womb. But are you stuck in the womb? Because if you're stuck in the womb, then you can't read the room. Ashe? So with this spiritual identity, what I got is this. This is what's happening right now. We are reorganizing thoughts in our mental body. This is a solar plexus. The solar plexus is the mental body, or the identity body. So we're reorganizing thoughts in our mental body, the solar plexus. We are being stripped of our old identity in order to receive the light codes of our true spiritual identity. To be evolved, to be in the risen light, super conscious, through our authentic authority within our soul's sovereignty. And this is the, I want to say, this is the recourse of action. This is the reclaiming of our identity from the shadows of the age of the ram. It's like we are really releasing the shadows of the age of the ram. Although you did not live around that time, because the age of the ram was about 4,000 years ago, we are still experiencing a lot of collective trauma and things that come through the collective imprint in the earth from the age of the ram. That's what's being pressure cleaned and lifted, those shadows of the age of the ram. And yes, it's still in your DNA, because we are our ancestors, which means we have technically existed around that time in another life form, in another way, however you want to look at it. So it's still in our DNA what needs to be cleansed out individually in your personal holistic soul and collectively in your personal bloodline of your soul. There is some stuff that needs to be, and again, this is like the convoluted universe, because I don't think people really see it on the multiple dimensions that I'm saying it, because it's really it's you and it's your culture too. Whatever you may have existed as back then around that time, it is also not just what you carry for you, but what you carry in the culture that you existed in. And so all of that is being stripped clean right now. And it is affecting us, for us to really find who our true identity is. Our whole DNA, blood, everything is being really stripped to understand the true identity, to return to your starseed cosmic identity of how you really exist in this earth. Ashe? So it's to really be in this risen life. It's to really access our super conscious. That part that they don't like to talk about, that psychology neglects. Your super conscious is your Christ conscious, or I'd like to say, sorry, let me make the correction, because as I was meditating today, I heard the correction of Christos Sophia. Christos Sophia. Because that's the real energy. The Christos energy is knowledge. The Sophia energy is wisdom. So if any of you have been seeing a lot about Sophia, the risen Sophia, that's because a lot of that Sophia energy, which is the feminine energy, is rising right now to help bring balance to the knowledge. The knowledge is there. The Christ consciousness is there. It's always been here. But how we maneuver through the knowledge depends on how you utilize your wisdom, if you can access your wisdom. Ashe? So yes, Christos Sophia, beautiful. Ashe, thank you. Look it up, look it up. There's been a lot. Someone had asked me about the Sophia energy, and I was telling them, yeah, that's wisdom. And it's the counterpart of Christos energy. And if I was to bring it into explaining what it was physically, it would be in the physical manifestation embodiment form when it existed here as an exemplification. It was through Yeshua and Magdalene. Yeshua Christ, Magdalene was the Sophia energy. Yeshua Christ was the Christos, Magdalene was the Sophia. That's why they wanted to erase her from the books. Remember, during that patriarchal rule, they want to erase all of the divine feminine, because they don't want you remembering. The memories are what? Feminine energy, subconscious, mind. They want to erase the memories. They want to erase the feelings. They don't want you to feel. Ashe? And so we are returning to the feelings. We are remembering. That's why the sacral workshop I did last week was that important, for us to remember the feelings. And for us to pay attention to the body, because the body that keeps the score is indicating to you, is helping you to see where the feelings are, where to follow the feelings, where to find the feelings, wherever it shows up in your body, in your life, world, and affairs. 911, thank you for that. Oh, you just saw 911. You must be in a timeline ahead of us, because for me, it's 411. As soon as you put 911, I saw 411. So emergency, what's the information? Ashe? I like that. You see how we could be in different time zones, but we could still be in one mind consciousness? 911 is like, what's the emergency? 411 is like, what's the information? So the emergency of the information. That's what's happening right now. The urgency and the emergency of the information. Ashe, this is why I love when y'all input. Please communicate. If y'all in here in the chat, you know, put the hearts, all of that, like, share. But I love when you comment and communicate, because I like that interaction. I wouldn't have even saw that. 911 up in here, emergency. Because this information is urgent. This is urgent information. Not everybody could find these frequencies. Y'all see how my numbers be real low? This not one of those rooms where you're going to find 1,000 people and all that, because they can't find these frequencies. And I'm saying that to you, but I'm saying that to me because I had to accept that. Because I was wondering, what the heck am I doing wrong? Because I know I know that I know that I know who I am, the orders that I operate in, and all of that. So I'm wondering what's going on. But then, Spirit had to show me higher frequencies. Not everybody could tune into these frequencies, and so I've learned right now to be okay with that. I'm not trying to accrue any numbers or get the numbers up. The most I say when I say like, subscribe, share, and all of that, that is to help it reach those who are at our frequency, so that it can be, they're not so remote, in more remote places on the light grid, that they can more access it. We can help them access it, so thank you for that. She's like, you deserve hundreds of viewers. I know, that's what I was saying for a while. It's like, what is happening? Where all the, and then I watch some of the things and I'm like, so this what we watching? Some of the stuff that have thousands of, however much, hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm like, this where we at? It just highlights that that's where the collective is. It's like, okay. And the shift that we're making right now, not many people are on this frequency. I even saw another channel who gives, it's called a spiral of something. I don't know. Some of y'all who on here, if you can catch my frequency, I'm pretty sure you can catch that frequency, because there's this channel that I've been watching, and they have small views like me, but the information is deep. The information is deep and good and steep. Really good for the soul, and it's really activating, like it's transmissions, activations. But when I look at the views be like my views, it'd be like 20 something views or something teen views, like on the regular videos, and I'm like, I had to really try to figure it out. But if you all are on my frequency, I'm pretty sure you could catch that frequency. It may have even crossed your feed before. It's called spiral something, like something in the spiral, or spiral something. But I know the word is spiral, and it has an icon of a spiral, because that's how they talk about how we're existing, like how I'm talking about it in dimensions. And it's like that spiral is the dimensions, right? It's comfort. Thank you. It's comfort content. Yeah, most of those who are those thousands of it comforts them. Even those that are spiritual, everybody at different levels. That's what I'm learning, that they are where they are, and that's okay. And they need comfort for the level that they are at. It just means that they're not right here. And it's good, because it makes it easier for me to see who is here, even in other content or other creators, or it makes it easier for me to see who is at this frequency. So when it comes time to make a certain connection, make a certain move, you know who to go to, because times are shifting like that, and we got to know who to go to, where, when, how to light up on the light grid. Light colonies are coming online, right? That's where the collective view is, Ashe. Those light colonies are coming online, and we got to know where to find the light colonies, because it's going to be that as the place gets dark, like right now, with all the whatever is happening, which is neither here nor there for me, Epstein files and all this other stuff. I'm like, good, bring it on down, bring down the house. It's not a shock factor to me. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Just listen and pay attention and look. Just look at the energy. The energy will show you where to go. And lately it's been really easy for me to find what's what, because I'm seeing what's not. So fear not, fret not thyself when things are falling away from you. Many of you are losing a lot of people, a lot of nouns. We're losing a lot of nouns, y'all, okay? We're losing a lot of person, places, and things. And ideas, concepts are falling away. We're losing them. And loss is grief, right? Loss is grief. Let me see something. Just go ahead. Let me see what y'all saying. Fear don't got the resonance here. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Ashe. Fear don't got the resonance here. There's no resonance of fear right here at all. You can see. You can find me. Let me the TikTok thing had stopped, so I had to stop that. Thank you for recognizing that. Fear don't exist here. Fear is false. Okay, you want to go there? Oh, we rise and shine crystalline. That's what I was telling y'all about, and it just showed up when I put when TikTok went off. Rise and shine crystalline. So we got these crystalline, like y'all see this light shining right here. Like if you could, I don't know if y'all could see it, but when I look, I could see the crystals, like crystalline body. If you get my drift, I don't know if the camera shows it in good enough, but that's what it is. So fear is false evidence appearing real, right? You say, I pay that shit no mind. Ashe, that's what I'm talking about. We pays it no mind. When I hear all of that that's going on, it's like, oh, really? You know, it may get your attention for a minute or two, or there's something in it that is giving you the information of what's really happening. I don't listen to it for the gossip's sake. I don't listen to it to try to overindulge and figure it out and solve the riddle. That's their riddle to solve, not mine. I am in the multiple dimensions of time. I don't got time to be playing around with they low level ley lines, you know. So when it's, I'm like, round of applause. Oh, Epstein files. Okay, that's, oh, so y'all now y'all seeing, and people will still choose not to see. But now you're seeing that all of this stuff, they're all connected. All of these things, this why people hurt. People in their feelings, and they hurt because they're realizing they were on a job that they thought stood for something, and they're realizing it stood for nothing. They had principles that they thought stood for something. They were tied to certain traditions that they thought stood for something. And you're realizing all of that is fallen. It stood for nothing. You were wanting to believe that when the government puts out certain things, that is to help you. When you find out, oh no, it's to hurt you. The medical field is to keep you sick. There's a thing they got going on, and I'm not trying to go down the rabbit holes about that, but it's for a lot of people to come into that realization. That's what they are coming into, and it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. The world is coming to an end. Yes and no. That belief that you had in that is coming to an end. The world is fine. Like we be saying the world coming to the end, and the earth, Gaia, she's sitting here like, y'all coming to an end because I'm just getting rid of all my dead parasites. So if you feel that it's coming to an end, then you may be a parasite, or you may be a vessel that hosts some parasites, and that means you need to clear out some more of your unhealed wounds. No shade or nothing, not trying to make anybody feel away. We all have been there. I'm still working out stuff, right? Whatever unhealed wounds you have, that is your level of resistance that you hold in your soul. And wherever there's resistance, like I said earlier, the wound is open, parasites can come in. Just like sinners, you say yes. And that's why we got to watch our emotions. I'm not saying don't be angry, don't be mad, don't be sad, but quicken yourself to it. Have the expression. You got to express it in order to pay it attention. So if you're sad and you feel like crying, cry. If you're mad and you feel like venting, or you feel like letting out some anger in some kind of way, whether it's cussing somebody out or whatever, you know, not too lethally, but like however the anger comes out. I don't even want to contain anybody's anger. Let it come out. Allow yourself to have it so you can quicken yourself to it. The moment you allow yourself to have it without guilt, because some people be angry, but inside themselves, they still feel some type of way. There's an incoherency with that feeling, right? So allow yourself to have the anger, but be coherent. Be coherent with that feeling. And then you can quicken yourself to it. And then say, okay, what is this to me? What is the information that this is showing up for me? And believe me, the quicker you deal with it, the quicker that it won't even be there no more. But it was there because it was fear-based. Those are, and these are, any of these negative emotions are fear-based. They're from the fear-based wheel. Fear, expectation, disappointment, hurt, sad, mad, anger. Those are the main core 7. For those who are in my workshop, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the fear wheel. We got a fear wheel. We got a love wheel. That's the opposite. 7 main fear-based, 7 main love-based that are the direct opposition. So if expectation is fear-based, the opposite of that is acceptance. That's why we have to be in acceptance, and acceptance is the highest thing next to love, the highest emotion next to love, because acceptance counteracts expectation. Get out of your expectations. And I know that's not easy for all of us, because we all got some type of, I catch myself in it. When I'm in my feelings or something happened, I got to sit down and be like, oh, damn, I had an expectation, didn't I? Okay, got it. And these are things we go over in our workshop. If you don't catch this one, if you didn't catch the last one, this is something that always comes up in our quarterly workshops. And the next one is with the next full moon. So for those of you who are feeling this, or who feels the need to, turn over some more, have some help guiding through that, the next workshop is with the full moon. It's a 7-day workshop where we work through each energy center from the root going up. I've been doing it since 2021. And it really does. Every time somebody's in it, they always say, damn, I didn't know that was there. Because it helps you to tap into your subconscious mind. Because why? We're working with the moon, feminine energy. When it's a full moon, just like she raises the tides, the waters, water is the element of the sacral, the emotional body. Just like she raises the tides in the ocean, she raises the tides in your emotions, the emotional body. So it brings everything up to the surface so that you can deal with it. It's not a curse. It's not oh my God, it must be a full moon, that's why all this crazy stuff happening. It's oh my gosh, the celestial bodies, the luminaries are helping you to see something. It's bringing it to the surface for you. The problem is we keep doing this when it comes up and suppressing it instead of letting it come up and have an introspective look with it. And that's what we do in that workshop. So that will be with the full moon, 3 days before, 3 days after, and making it a full 7-day experience. You may see the flyer of that coming up as well. So I'm just shooting it out as it comes, y'all. I'm just shooting it out. So get to the point. All right, Spirit is like, wrap it up, get to the point. Because I've been outside here like for hours. I did my whole meditation. I did a little mini video for YouTube, TikTok. Wrap it up, right? So let me see. Greed energy. Ooh, now you touching the earth chakra. That's something we talk about in the earth chakra, because the shadow of the earth chakra is greed energy. Because the earth chakra, which is beneath us, is outside of our body, beneath us, right? The soul star is above us, outside of our body. And it is about having the awareness of our divinity in the earth. In the earth. Right? So imagine the soul star is about our divinity. The earth chakra is about the awareness of our divinity in the earth. And when we don't have that, we have greed. We end up in greed energy when we are not in the awareness or in the remembering of our divinity in the earth, which says we have everything we need in the earth, umbilical cordly. So like you always have that umbilical cord tied to you, to the earth. We're always ever connected through that silver cord, so to speak. And we just need to tug on that silver cord. That's astral projection type of terminology for those who know astral projecting through their silver cord. But the greed energy is when we forget that. When we're not in awareness of that, then we end up in greed energy that is disguised as need. Ashe? We end up in that greed energy that's disguised as need. And let me see what you're saying here too. One of the ultimate, I think it says lower energies. Yes. One of the ultimate lower energies that stem from the, it's the most destructive. I can't see that last word. The unaddressed. Yes. Ashe. Ashe. It stems from the unaddressed. So yes, it's one of the lower energies, greed, that is dressed up as need. We don't need anything, but see, when it's dressed up as need, look how it translates into our root. So now it comes up into our root, and in our root, because it's this need is dressed up as, this greed is dressed up as need, we see everything, we go into survival mode in the root. because now I need this, I need that, need, because you're in a greed energy, because you have forgotten your awareness of your divinity in the earth. You have forgotten that you are the currency. Your energy is the currency that attracts everything you need, that you have creative power within you, but you have been made to depend on others to do it for you, aka an institution or a system. You have been taught to live within walls, like biblical days, who lives in the walls? You've been taught to live within walls. And that's why I say true prophets are those, if y'all notice in the Bibles, the prophets didn't live within the walls. The prophets that y'all read about, they are tent people. They live outside the walls, and they come in the walls to trade and commerce and to integrate, but they live outside the walls, which shows that their dependency is not on what is within the walls. False sense of safety and security in whatever way that looks like. And this is what we're breaking. For those of us who live in the institution, we may think we don't live within walls, but we do. If you live in an institution, in a system, in a government, you live within walls. So those of us who are really stepping out the matrix are practicing to live without the provisions of these institutions. Or even if we use the provisions, we don't depend on them. We know that if we don't have it, we don't have it, but that don't mean we don't have it. If we don't have it with these two eyes, that doesn't mean we don't have our abundance. We have access to all of our abundance around us, and that takes great faith to know. I'm just saying, right? Fear that is unaddressed. That's exactly what that is. Ashe, that is fear that is unaddressed, right? So, thank you for that. That was a nice little dip right there. Dip in the stick. I see the copper glow. Oh, on me? Or you see the copper in me? Am I the copper people? I am copper tone. I received that. So thanks for seeing my copper glow. All right, so the dream. Let me get to the dream. I know y'all want to get to this dream. So as I was coming out of my dream, I had to write it down so I remember it, because the dream moves really, really fast, right? I kept hearing and feeling the resonance of 26 and January, like it was just reverberating, 26 in January, which returns me to the focus of January 26th and what happened at that time. And what comes to mind is obviously Neptune entering Aries. That's when Neptune had entered Aries, saying, pay attention to your dreams or visions, for your dreams are building your true spiritual identity. That part. Your dreams, and I don't mean wishy-washy dreams. I mean the dreams that are the visions, the things that you have been envisioning in the spiritual realm, which is Neptune. Neptune is a spiritual realm. That's why it rules Pisces, and it was just in a spiritual house, Pisces. So while it was in Pisces for the past couple years, and when Saturn was there with it, see, Saturn came to be like, okay, reality check up in here. In case some of you have fell into illusions, because that's the shadow of Neptunian energy, the shadow of dreams, the shadow of the spiritual house Pisces is being in illusions, right? Not really having a maturity of these dreams and visions, because in order to be in spirituality, you have to be a visioner or a dreamer. You have to be able to interpret and understand dreams and visions to be in that spirituality. So we have been being conditioned for the past couple years that Neptune has been in there. And when Saturn went, it broke up a lot of stuff, saying, hey, break it up, reality check. Now it's time for accountability, responsibility. Saturn brings that responsibility, which is the ability to respond, right, Bird? To truth. So it was reminding me that this Neptune entered into Aries is saying Neptune being the one of the dreams. And if we had gotten what we needed to get, especially over the past 2 years, and especially specifically within the last year, when Neptune was hitting its graduational point of 29 degrees in particular times, for us to really have the opportunity to break the illusions. Some of us were working through that with the Halls of Amenti, aka 888 Lionsgate. That's the Halls of Amenti. And that is the opportunity to look in this hallway of mirrors and see the illusions. It's like walking through the fun house and seeing all of these figures that you can see is clearly an illusion. It's not real. And then break the illusion so that by the time you get through the rest of the hall, you put down that flesh, that physical body gets put down so that you can step ahead with that more physically inclined body. So that's what was happening around the time of Halls of Amenti. I think in about 2024, Neptune was at 29 degrees for the first time, right? Then sometime within the year, last year, it, retrograde and came back. It retrograde back past 29 degrees and came back again, crossed 29 degrees. So we had ample opportunity. It was giving us ample opportunity. That's what was happening last year. We was dipping in and out. Those outer planets was dipping in and out to give us ample opportunity to address what we did not address when we had the first opportunity. So breaking those illusions. And now when you break those illusions, think about a more mature Neptunian energy, a mature Neptune coming into Aries, leaving the house of spirituality. And now it's time to enter back into a physical house, right? Because Aries is the physical, right? Where Pisces is the spiritual. We are now cycling back. It's a new cycle, and we're entering into a new cycle of the physical, and the beginning, the fire horse, or the fire element, and the fire horse is guiding us. So this is now bringing us the spiritual house into the new beginnings, and so these dreams are building our true spiritual identity, because remember, Aries is the identity body. Aries represents individuality and our identity, the ego. So now it's time to bring that, what you have broken away from, in a mature dreams and visions, to build this true spiritual identity. However, the shadows of that, for those who have not gotten that memo, for those who did not get that memo, have not gotten that memo, or will not get that memo, they're going to take these dreams that are illusions and delusions of grandeur into Aries, into a shadow type of way, and be very aggressive and trying to enforce and impose some type of leadership, false sense of leadership, and even disguised as spirituality, because we just came out of the house of spirituality. So this is why you have to be careful with some of the spiritual people that you listen to, that you follow, and not that they mean no harm, but they may not have self-actualized to the fullness, to the completion, to the 999 of what we needed to get through as we left the Pisces, house, as Neptune has left. They may not have been able to gather that. So this is why I say too, if you're looking for leaders, or if you want to know if you are one of the designated spiritual leaders, then check your life number if it is a 369. And I've been saying that. I've been saying, hey, I'm speaking to the 369ers. Those are the ones who I've really been calling into, the 144 frequency holders, because it's not a number of people, the 144 frequency holders, and the 369ers, meaning your life path is a number 9 by the number 36. That's who I call the 369ers. So if you have a life path 9 overall, but particularly 369ers are pretty much designated in this spiritual leadership, in helping to attain, self-actualize, and helping to guide others into their true spiritual identity. Ashe, obviously I'm a 369er, because what? It takes one to know one. So that's how I know. Some of you may be saying that, well, damn, how do you know? That's how I know. Ashe. We already have everything we need. Exactly. Everything we need is already here. So again, there's no need to fear, right? Leave that unaddressed fear somewhere else. Or matter of fact, no, don't leave it. Go and address it. Go and address and redress your fears. False evidence appearing real. so we can transmute it into love. All right, so that's with the spiritual identity that I was getting. Also, since there was such an emphasis on the 26th, because I was getting such a strong emphasis on the 26th, it activated the remembrance of the 2626 portal, right? As the 88 portal of infinite existence this year. Now, this is according to the Gregorian calendar, not those of us who have the 5D calendar, although it is still applicable because it helps us know where to find particular things that are going on, right? So, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Let me stick to this. So 88, the 2626 portal, the 2 and the 6 is 8. And that is how it is holding the theme all year of an 88 portal. Why am I saying all year? Because every 26th of the month is going to be a 2626 portal, according to the Gregorian calendar, in connection to the Gregorian calendar, I should say. So it's going to be that 2626 portal. So every 2626 will echo the Neptunian dream building in Aries of the spiritual identity through activating the infinite existence as access. So kind of look at it like an access point, if you will. So that 2626 portal will be an access point, right, of infinite existence, your infinite existence as access, because you're going to have infinite existence, infinite. Not that you're just going to have it, right? I'm saying it like that, but that don't mean you're just going to have it, because portals are determined by your pre-portal work, by your pre-portaling experience. So what you are doing in your soul work determines how you will portal through. However, it is the opportunity to, within that portal, utilize the theme of the 8-8 or infinite existence, the theme of having infinite access into the echoing of what took place on January 26, 2026, which was Neptune entering into Aries. So every portal is going to be an opportunity to echo that, to guide you to, or connect you to reconnect you to remembering your dream, your vision, bringing you to the point of remembering your dream, your vision, and how it is exemplifying or amplifying your spiritual identity. How is this dream and vision building your spiritual identity? And it may be a reminder as to what you're building, why you're building, how you're building. It may be a reminder to say, hey, do you remember your spiritual identity? Hey, do you remember your dream? Do you remember your vision? All that you have gained through true revelation at this particular time that we're having these great cosmic shifts. Do you remember? And then I hear that song, do you remember the 21st day, September? And it's so funny that I think of that, because I'm also hearing, do you remember the cosmic messenger third eye atlas? It is such a big role in what is happening with us right here, not just on Earth, but in our entire solar system, because it is upgrading our entire solar system. And it really activated from September, because it's on our ecliptic plane. And so it's been traveling, from far, but it became really activated through with us after that last eclipse in September. That's why I'm hearing, do you remember that 21st day, September? Whatever happened on September 21st, for some of us, just look back at what happened in September. And Third Eye Atlas pretty much came into view after that. After that, people were becoming very, very aware by the end of September, beginning of October, especially October, because October is when it had its close encounter with Mars. And that's a whole nother, conversation. We'll go there with that. But this dream is really highlighting the what's happening on the 26th, and it was highlighting how we are moving from our dreams and what part it plays in our spiritual identity. So it is really going to help us to step into our spiritual identity, should we so choose to, because everything is choice. We're at a choice point right now, and the decisions you make are the pills you take. Let that sink in and marinate. Ashe? Ashe. So, things to do. These are some things I noted that we can do. Did I finish that part? Yes. So, what we can do, in case you're wondering, yeah, well, I'm hearing all of this. So, what can I do? How can I, you know, tune in to tune up and get attuned to these frequencies? So, 3 pointers I got. One is we are to meditate, obviously. Meditate, 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 because meditate is listening, prayer is talking. We need to meditate and sit in the silence. So meditate and appropriate the sun. See, I'm a living example. Y'all see me here eating the sun this whole time. Appropriate the sun to receive the light codes through the fire, through the fire. This the fire right here. Get fired up by that horsepower, fire horse. Get in the sun, sit in the sun, put your feet in the earth, ground. So when I say meditate, I'm talking about all of that. Sit in nature, put your bare feet in the ground like what I'm doing right now. Make sure that sun is touching your skin so that your skin can appropriate the messages. Let it get into your melanin. Even if you feel like you're not a melanated person, we all got melanin. We just all got different levels of melanin. I'm just saying. So when we say the melanated people, some people got stronger activations of melanin, and it's not always about the darker the skin is, the better the melanin, but it just so happens that mostly that's usually what it is, but not necessarily. But we all have melanin. So let it activate that melanin activation, because the melanin is actually what is doing the whole DNA activation, right? The DNA activation breakdown, right? So that's the first one. So meditate incorporates all of that. Meditate, ground, appropriate, marinate. The second thing is we are to eat light code foods and drink a lot of water. Hydrate. Eat light code foods. What do I mean by that? First trophic level foods. Plant life, 2D consciousness. Didn't I tell y'all earlier they got a lot of wisdom in them? The light codes, because they really take in the light codes. So when we are taking in light, we need to also appropriate foods that have these light codes already in them, right? And not to overcook them, right? If you're doing a detox and a fast, for those who have done detoxes, you probably know what I mean. I like my vegetables really, really cooked. So even I have to, tell myself, remember, it's not supposed to be so cooked, because we cook out all the, the light. So the more raw, the more we're really appropriating the direct light, so to speak. So fruits, vegetables, and even if you're eating other things, I would say eat more light foods. Even if you're not going on a fast or a particular detox or diet, at least change your diet a little bit by putting more light foods in your food, and just being a little bit more self-disciplined. For me, just come off of it. Like in this last half of the vortex, the last 9 days of this vortex, which was from the 12th, I believe from the 12th to the 20th, I started on the 12th, I've been doing the fast. For me, it's like come off of the flesh. If you're eating other things, fine, but I would definitely say do your best not to eat the flesh foods. Why? Because flesh holds a lot of density. And if anybody knows about Dolores Cannon saying it, you know. Flesh holds a lot of density. Sodas, no either. Because even she was told to stop eating sodas, and she just could not stop having her Coca-Cola. But sodas, I would lay off of any sodas, and any meat, any flesh food, because they hold density. So they keep you in those lower densities. So light foods, like I said. The third thing, and this brings us back to the 3. The third thing is we are to recognize the power of 3, as creative completion, and the first main dimensional portal that highlights the completion manifestation thereof. So it's just like what I was talking about earlier. If you didn't get here earlier and you didn't hear it, you may want to watch it back. But we talked about that earlier. So recognizing the power of 3 in everything. Recognizing what? That third dimension, that creative completion. It is the awareness if seen, because not everybody sees but it is the awareness, if seen, of existence of creation. So you are becoming aware of something that is existing through creation, whatever it is. And the beginning, it is the beginning completion of the first gestation phase of the infinite nine as spiritual completion, as we spoke about earlier. So that three is really important because it is that first stage of awareness, of the introduction to something, of paying attention to something. It is the completion of something, spirit, soul, body, or just even looking at water that has three phases. That's the completion of the water, the three phases: solid, liquid, gas. Right? When you look into a book, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's an introduction, the body, and a conclusion. Like we talked about Revelations being a conclusion. So where do you see that threefold in something? And I say that because that's how I recognize when certain things are happening, and it's like confirmation that something is happening, because, or in a completion of something is happening in manifested form or in manifested time. Like now, this is how I get confirmation that the cosmic event that's happening right now, because it comes in threes, right? We had the solar eclipse. We have, what else happened? There's a solar eclipse. There's the fire horse, and then there's the Neptunian, the Saturn Neptune conjunction on the 20th. So those, when I saw those three things, it was like, okay, one, two, three. That's confirmation that something is definitely opening up. There's definitely a portal happening right here in the here and now. Peace, love, and light. Welcome in, Mike. And so there's definitely something happening in this time frame, in this portal. So I look for those threes. And it shows up in, in different ways. And like I said, the 20th is also the closing of the portal from 2/2 to 2/20. So it's multiple things happen on these multiple days. Ashe. And I literally have counted 3 days. If you look at from the 17th, when the solar eclipse hit, to the 20th, that's 3 days, 18, 19, 20. So you're also saying 3 days in the transition of it into the 20th, right? And for me, getting ready to celebrate the 5D. So for those who want to join me, I usually come on that day and be like, happy 5D independence. For those of you who have the 5D calendar. And if you don't, email me. You can always order one. We're actually in the process of making the next one, so it can be ready for the next new year for us, which is spring equinox begins our new year. Spring equinox is the first month, opens up the first month, being Aries or Asar. And so, yeah, 5D is more and more here. So on 2/22, we getting ready to celebrate, and I believe that's 3 days from the 20th. When I opened up into it, I was celebrating something on the 20th at that time of 2/2/2022. It was the return of, was it the Pluto return or the Saturn return? I always mix it up, but it was a major return that those coordinates had not been there since July of 1776. So that means shift change. That meant it was the fall of that world, which America is that world. And if they fall, what's the next, you know, leaders, so to speak? Not leaders, I don't even want to say leaders, but that next rising power, and that's the fifth dimension. It's not going to be another nation. The next rising nation is the fifth dimension. So that was the 5D Independence Day, and some of us were able to experience. So I'll talk more about that when I get to that. For those of you who want to know more, email me or message me, or, tap into one of our workshops, because we'll definitely be talking about it. I invite you to our next workshop coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, solar plexus. Remember, we're going to be tapping into that spiritual, the true spiritual identity, because that's our identity body. Ashe. Can you only teach if your life path is a 369? No, definitely not. You can teach. You don't have to be just a 369. It's just that's what was highlighted to me, to look out for the 369ers. And even for me, I have to double check, because not because someone is a 369 means that they can teach in benevolence, right? Because as I said, if they're in the shadows of things, then they're going to lead people into the shadows. There's still going to be leaders. These are the spiritual leaders. But which way are they leading you is the thing. And you don't have to be a 369 to teach. You don't even have to be a life path 9 to teach. It's just how I'm shown to identify, and how to call it out and have people help look at it, look at yourselves and be like, oh man, I'm a 369. And so if you look at it and you realize you've been operating from the shadows and this happens to reach you, you have an opportunity to course correct yourself. Realize that you have a responsibility, a spiritual responsibility to lead, and you need to be leading people in the right way. So it's also like a call out to those who are that, if they are. Ashe, but be a leader where or whatever your life path is. Or is 369 life path just a definite leadership site? Yeah, like I said, it's just the 9. The 9 is that spiritual completion. So hence the spiritual leaders, the ones that are in the completion are more in a position to lead. Does not mean they are the only ones. Because you may have some people that's a life path 1 that are good leaders because they know how to take the first step. There's something to every sign. It just depends. There's something to every number. It depends on how evolved you are, if that makes sense. Right? That makes so much sense. Thank you. We're welcome. I would love to have you in the workshop. Thank you for your 911 on the 411. Dropping the dime every time. It's so divine. Ashe, ashe. Come in on the cosmic line. Pick up your call up on the request line. Is it worth it? Let me work it. We got to have fun with it sometimes. We got to have fun. So I would love to have you in. So please come on in. Oh, I didn't even, that's you, Z. You already with us. Boop, boop. I should have known because I could feel, I was thinking it like when I didn't know it was you from before because I can't see the smaller letters. Now that you say that, it's in a bigger letter. But when you were saying stuff before, in my thoughts, I was like, this person kind of gives me this resonance of Z. and look who it be. That's why you in the 911. You are ahead of us. Ashe, ashe. I knew I felt that resonance. That makes so much sense. Okay, that was you. Interesting. I'm a 1. He. Okay. All right, job B. That means you know how to take the first step. I know you not from no other stuff because you wouldn't have found this frequency if you wasn't already on a path. Anyone who's finding this frequency, that's because you can tap in. You have evolved to a state where you can see this frequency. It's either you're here or you can at least see it. You can recognize the frequency. That's why you've made it here. Ashe. So anybody who has made it through, who came through, you're all welcome to join the workshop. Email me. I'll share the information with you. You're probably going to see the flyer either later on tonight, maybe tomorrow in the morning, so you can see the registration and all of that. I do work off of donations, and if you don't have it, it's like a small fee, for what I do, because I got to do a lot. So if you can, but if not, don't let that stop you. Remember what we said. Abundance is there. Don't look in lack and limitation. Don't activate that in your root chakra and be like, well, I ain't got it. No, you got everything that you need. Make the attempt, or as my spiritual mentor told me, she's like, I ain't asked you about money. Do you want to be there? And this was for a retreat. And I'm like, I don't see how I'm going to have this retreat. That was my first lesson in abundance like that. How? Where does money come? She was like, I didn't ask you about money. Do you want to have the retreat? Yes or no? Because when you say yes to the universe says yes to you. So I say that so if you even see the flyer and you see it's going to be about 33 or 66, depending on how you want to, handle it, or a donation. But don't let it stop you. Reach out, email, so I could send you the coordinates, and you'll be right there in time for our Souls Inclined. So see y'all in the Solar Plexus workshop. It was nice sharing this identity with you all, letting us see that the old identity is falling away and that the spiritual identity is here to stay if you so choose to allow it to make way. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So thank you for who came through on the TikTok or the tick of the talk of the cosmic clock. And those who came through here, I'm seeing what, 8? Okay, infinite existence. I see you, infinite existence. And I see 6 in the light. So I see receptive completion. So infinite existence and a receptive completion. So love and light to you all. Enjoy the rest of this day of the 19th. Enjoy tomorrow, closing out the portal and the exact 0 degrees, because they already at 0 degrees. Let me just let y'all know. Saturn already entered. They're already at 0 degrees. We've been in a portal of 0 degrees energy for the past couple days, but they will be very exact to the hour, to the minute, 0 degrees in Aries tomorrow. So enjoy however that shows up for you. And loving that light. Let me see what Ja is saying before I go out. That's huge. I asked folks, do you want? And got back a bag of reasons why they can't have it. Yeah, because people don't know how to see that abundance. So they'll be like, yeah, I want it, but how? But I got this bill to pay. And people let their bills be their lack and limitation. Bills for me is like, put it on my tab. Bill's like, oh, bill, put it on my tab. I'll get to it. I'll tap that up later because my abundance is still flowing and coming in. So I don't worry about what I don't have right now because I know my abundance is right there. And at the right time, this is true faith. In the right time, it'll open up. It'll flow right through because I'm always giving. I know the law of giving and receiving. And I don't give stupidly, but I'm always giving. So when you give, you open that flow, that channel of giving and receiving. So my receptivity is like, pow, it's here. So I don't worry about what I don't see with these 2 eyes, right? What you truly desire from the wholeness is one of my favorite questions recently. Yes. I like that. What do you truly desire from the wholeness, from the universe, from the you in the universe? Because you make it as abundant as it can be. Ashe, so let it be. Thank you all. Enjoy from me and the winds and the trees of 2D. Whoop, whoop. Peace, love, and light from me to thee. Ashe, love and light.